What is the AAA coaching method? A lot of times people are like, man, I need a better system for my coaching. I need something that makes my life simpler so that I can get my people results. Today's video, everything we're going to talk about is simplification of your process to drive higher results for your clients and ultimately get you more referrals and more sales. So the AAA method, okay? You start, number one, with awareness. And this runs two ways. It's not just your client's awareness, it's also yours. Are you aware of their current situation? Every single detail. Have you studied with them what they have going on? How they're spending their time, where they're getting stuck, where they're slacking off, where they're allowing their standards to slip? Are you looking at all of the tiny dark corners of their life and getting that dust out of there with them? So as a coach, your awareness has to be 10 times that of your people's. Now for your clients, you have to help them to get awareness where they are slacking off. Big problem nowadays, people are spending anywhere from 8 to 15 hours a day on social media. Number one, it rots your brain, man. I mean, it completely deteriorates your ability to focus and to focus in a very deep and meaningful way. But the other thing is, I mean, a lot of men are struggling with porn addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, smoking, all these different vices. And the reality is the mind is a machine that is consistently looking. There's a cognitive bias called consistency bias. People are looking for things to be consistent. When something sticks out as being inconsistent or incongruent, it raises a lot of red flags for people. So as a coach, you can't be training people on how to be in great shape and you're starting to get fat. You can't be training people on how to have a great marriage and you're in the middle of a divorce. So you need to enforce consistency, but also you have to enforce consistency on the client. So what happens is they might be at work a total rock star. They've got this identity, I crush it, I'm the best of the best, blah, blah, blah. But they're not enforcing that identity on their health. They're not enforcing it on their relationships. They're not enforcing it on their faith. So you have to make sure, because every erosion of character erodes at all other forms of character. So if they're great at work, but they're slacking off at home, then they start drinking, like it's only a matter of time before that lack of consistency across all areas of life begins to affect the area where they feel strongest, which is at work. So you need to bring as much awareness as possible to those tiny dark corners that people want to avoid. And as a coach, that means you have to ask people some pretty hard questions. You're gonna have to get deep in there with them. And you'll have people that I've had clients that literally will be crying on the phone. I've had clients that are telling me, I don't know what to do, man. Like, I mean, if this doesn't work out, I think I'm done for. So you have to be willing to get into the dark corners of their lives and shed some light on those so that those dark corners don't turn into entire shadows on all of their life. Now, the second A, you've got awareness. Number two is analysis. And, you know, before we jump into that, really quick, you guys, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, make sure to click subscribe. Every day I'm putting out these videos. If you guys implement these in your businesses, they will absolutely skyrocket both the sales that you're making in your business, but also the results you're getting for your clients, which just leads to a virtuous cycle of you making more sales, getting more referrals, getting more results, getting more referrals, getting more sales. So analysis, let's talk about analysis. One of the most challenging parts of coaching isn't figuring out what's wrong. Typically, coaching clients can tell you within a couple of minutes exactly what's going wrong in their lives, and it's not hard to understand. The challenge is in the analysis it takes to find out where that's coming from. For some people, these are just unconscious behaviors they've fallen into a bad habit and they haven't really realized that habit came from this one thing 5 years ago. It has nothing to do with their current situation at all. Some of it comes from, just a lack of good self-esteem. A lot of people, even successful people, struggle with feeling like they deserve the good things that happen to them because they've been through so many bad things. It seems like, this is somebody else's life. Somebody else deserves to live this kind of life, not me. I used to be this kind of person. I used to do these kinds of things. And so the analysis part of this is where you go from, okay, we know what the problem is, to saying, let's trace this thing back to its roots. Like I'm walking past a bunch of houses here on the way to the zoo. Some of these houses have some weeds in the yard. If you cut off the top of a weed, guess what happens within 1 or 2 days? That weed's just as tall, if not taller than it was before. You have to rip them out by the roots. And so when you're coaching people, when you're going through your analysis, you have to be looking with the client and saying, hey, when did you start doing this? Oh, I'm not sure. No, sure. No, not sure. Let's figure this out. When did you start doing this? Well, I think it was around this time. Okay, what was going on in your life at that time? Oh man, I had just gotten through this bad breakup, or I just lost my job, or I just had a business fail. So then you're like, I figured out where it's at. That's where the root is. You're still holding on to this identity of being the person that, you failed one time before, so now you think you're a failure. Now you feel like you are gonna fail again because it's happened before. But the reality is, it's just like dating. All of us have dated more than one person in our lives. We're not married to all of them. You know what I mean? Sometimes things don't work out. That's not a reflection on whether or not you're a good person or whether or not you're capable. It just means that one thing didn't work out that one time. And even if it's multiple times that something didn't work out, it's not a reflection on you. There's 8 billion people in the world. How hard do you think it is to find the kind of person that you can live an entire lifetime with? I mean, there are a lot of different personalities, a lot of different personality hang-ups, a lot of different, mental health problems, a lot of different behavioral problems. So the reality is there's so many variables that to consistently say, well, because these bad things happen to me, it's because of me. Yeah, you got to take some accountability for your life. You have to say, hey, look, I should have realized when I was dating this person it was a bad choice. It was obvious. In retrospect, I look back, this person's snorting cocaine every day. Wow, where did I think that was going to go? But in the moment of analysis, you have to take them back to that moment and you have to get them to go through kind of undoing that and basically saying, well, hey, look, are you the same person you were then? No. I mean, obviously you've done this, you have to help them to rebuild themselves out of the hole they refuse to get out of. That might have happened 5 years ago. So the analysis section is super important because it's very easy to just look at a behavior, not address the root cause of that behavior, and then say, well, just do this. And technically, that's the third step. The third step is action. So you've got awareness, analysis, and action. Now, here's a little hack for you guys when it comes to coaching people. It isn't enough to just give people some to-do list to do. One of the better ways to do this is help them to set bigger and better goals. Some guy over here cutting some trees down. Help them to set bigger and better goals that are going to stretch them. So whatever they say their goal is, get them, go back to the analysis part and say, do you really think that's the best you could do? Well, maybe I could do this. Come on, man, you're better than that. You know you could do better. You want them to get challenged, not because it's just a fun thing to do to challenge people. The reality is people don't get excited about goals that aren't challenging. The only thing that actually gets people excited is when they have a challenging goal and they have the belief that they can achieve it. When the goal is too small, it doesn't inspire enough action, and without enough inspiration to action, it doesn't get enough commitment. And see, the challenge with goals for most people is it's very hard for them to commit because they're constantly shooting too low in their life. They should be shooting way up here and they're shooting down here. And so what you want to do is, on the action side of this, don't jump right into just giving them a checklist. Ask them, what's like your biggest goal with this program, with me working with you? What's your biggest goal? And they'll say, well, if I could make an extra 10 grand a month, I'd feel really good about that. And then you ask the question, the magic question. You say, is that really the best you think you could do? Well, no, really, if I could make like 100 grand a month, that would be amazing. That would feel so good. And then you just help them to shoot for that better goal. 100 grand a month is way more exciting than 10 grand a month. Way, way, way more exciting. And the only reason why they're not shooting for it is because they're scared to fail in the pursuit of it, and they don't believe they can do it. But the reality is, it's just as easy to make 100 grand a month as it is to make 10. You might have to hire an extra employee, but there's all kinds of companies all over the world that are doing $1 million a year in revenue, which is roughly 100 grand a month, with 2 or 3 employees. Hardly anything. It's an easy target to hit. So you have to push your people not just to do things, but to have the kinds of goals that inspire them enough to get their full commitment. People will not achieve goals they're not fully committed to. It just doesn't happen. You have to be in this kind of mindset that no matter what, you're going to accomplish it, and that only happens when the goals are big enough and exciting enough that people are like, man, if you could help me do that, I would never stop. I would just go all in. I would start right now. I wouldn't even wait till tomorrow morning to do this. So just to recap for you guys, 3 things here: awareness, analysis, and action. I love you guys. I hope you all have an amazing day. Make sure to click that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.